So my name is Jon Fowler. I'm the city team leader for Panama City and Reach Global, and I'm going to share with you how I came to know Jesus Christ. My testimony starts with my father. He was the first Christian in our family. He came to Christ. He was a Mormon prior to that. Someone shared with him the gospel when he was 18 years old. And my dad had a radical transformation. And I grew up hearing stories about my dad, knowing the kind of person that he was and the kind of person that he became when he turned his life over to Christ. My parents, when they got married, they both decided to raise the kids as believers, so we went to church. And when I was 5 years old, my mother explained the gospel to me, how Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins so that I could have eternity in heaven with Him and not be separated from God. And so I made a decision by my bed one night with my mom to accept Jesus. But I think as a kid, I probably only understood that to a certain depth. And so I think as I got older, I continued to go to church, but my personal life did not reflect any kind of a decision for Jesus, even though I knew about it. And so as I got into high school, middle school and high school, things got a lot harder. I was a problem for my parents and a problem at my school. Sometimes I had trouble with the police, doing different things. And it was very clear that I was not following Jesus at that age. But one day in school, I saw a beautiful girl, and I found out that there was a Bible study that met at her house. So suddenly I got really interested in Jesus. So I showed up on a Monday night, and I saw about 50 kids in the basement of her house, all listening to this 17-year-old share a message. And I had never seen that before. I'd grown up in lukewarm church youth groups where kids were there because their parents were making them come. I had never met a teenager who was voluntarily so excited about Jesus. And it impacted me. And I kept coming back, not because of him probably, but more because of this beautiful girl. And she later became my wife. But it was one night after several weeks of going to this Bible study that I heard him preaching, the same 17-yerold kid on Revelations chapter 3 verses 15 and 16, where Jesus is speaking, and he says, "I know your deeds, that you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, and because of that I'm about to spit you out of my mouth." And it's a paraphrase, but the idea there is that Jesus was saying, pick a side. And it became very personal. I felt like Jesus was telling me, John, you need to pick a side. Even though it was written to the church, it was very personal to me. And I went home that night, and I in the privacy of my bedroom, I just prayed to Jesus, and I said, I'm ready to find out what that's about. And I opened my heart up to Him, to follow Him. And that was when I was 17 years old, and things really began to change for me. And so I started picking up the Bible and reading it, and it made sense to me like never before. And I was hooked. I wanted to read more, consume it, and slowly over time I realized that He was doing a work in my life. And probably about 6 months after I made that decision was when I realized that He was calling me into ministry, which was another big step in my life. But it's been a series of saying yes and not looking back, so no regrets. It's just been one long story since I was 17, so it's been good. But you give Him praise for that.